So let's talk about your story about the Spain thing. And if I'm not mistaken, this started with your fascination to learn Spanish, right?
Yes, so it was more of a fascination to learn a foreign language.
Okay.
And I pick up languages quite easily. So I thought, okay, why not learn a foreign language as well?
I
And
like it.
anyway, so started it and just got super fascinated by it. Liked the fact that it had given me a sense of purpose, and I would get up every morning, and I worked really hard. I don't think I worked as hard when I was in school. I would have done much better academically if I had done
Yeah,
this. But
such
yes, I
things.
would wake up and read online Spanish newspapers, practice, and learn new words, at least
Oh,
five
very
new
first
words
bencher,
every
very
day.
first
Yeah, yeah,
bencher.
very like those first bencher, like horrible the people who I used to look at and kind of
And
saying
judge.
I'm not. So I did all that, and so I learned Spanish. I mean, I passed all the exams and did all the levels and whatever, but I realized that I'm not able to speak as comfortably because you're not surrounded by the language. So when I lived in different cities, I just pick up the language because you hear it constantly.
Yeah.
And there's no way you'll hear it constantly sitting in a city like Hyderabad. So, and I had a friend from UK who was visiting me. And she was also visiting India after many years, so we were having this it was around December, so that's the time when all of us get very for a very short period we get very philosophical and say,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
New Year resolutions and all
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. True.
So that's what happened to us. And so she said, what is it that you'd like to do next year? And then I said, my dream is to go and live in Spain for like 2 or 3 months and live in a small town or a village and be forced to speak Spanish. And I feel that that's what will help me improve my language. And so Penny, my friend, she was my ex-colleague she's an ex-colleague from the Gates Foundation. So Penny is like one of those like, okay, right, let's make this happen.
You need
And
such
she
people.
immediately pulled out her laptop and she started sending emails out. And surely a week later, I get a message from her saying someone's going to contact you. And I got a mail from this guy called Serge from Spain, and he's like, I live here with my partner and 3 kids, and we'd be happy to have you here. And I was like, what? Like, now
Wow.
it's all like real. Okay. So then I was like, okay, let me look at my bank balance. And because it's an
Correct.
expensive proposition, and, coming out of a 2.5 year
Pandemic, yeah.
slump was not easy. But coming out of a 2.5 year slump was also, you just like, to hell with everything else.
Yeah.
Let me just do this.
Yeah, it was everyone was in YOLO form. Okay, you live only
Everyone
once,
was,
let's
yeah,
do
exactly.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I got into that mode. I was like, okay, if I live, if I survive, I'm sure there'll be a way that I'll figure out to make money. I'm not going to look at the bank balance bit of it. And Penny kind of told her friends, her Spanish connected friends, that I'm, in exchange for living with them, I'll give them gyan on Indian food and, that I'm one of these big
Oh,
experts and stuff like that.
oh,
So
nice.
oversold, but it worked. And this family had turned vegan a few years before, and they were like, two things. One, they wanted to learn more in Indian food, Indian recipes, and they also wanted their kids to be exposed to a different culture through people. And
Oh,
they were quite,
lovely.
So yeah, now I consider Serge, Anya, and their kids as my Spanish family. So, so my family in Spain. So we just hit it off immediately, had a couple of conference calls, and then we just decided on the logistics. And, 3, 4 months later, during the summer when didn't have much to do, I packed my bags and went to Spain. So
Oh
stayed,
my God.
yeah,
Beautiful, beautiful story.
correct, correct. So eventually I ended up staying for about 6 weeks. So roughly about a month with families and then a couple of weeks traveling around. So most amazing experience. Yeah, so that's how it
Yeah.
all came about.
So this is one of the resolutions that actually,
Actually
fructified.
planned out and worked out.
So ho sakta hai. We should not give up on the resolution and still keep doing
Yes,
it.
I know.
I hope to find friends like Penny,
Correct,
around at
correct.
that
Yeah.
point.
Everyone
Only
should have
then.
a penny in their lives.
Yeah, yeah, everyone should. Yeah, really, honestly. Very nice. So, Spain Spain is one of those countries which is like Guinness Book of World Records in ham, right? You barely can find. I mean, if I find Spanish, I'm a vegetarian, so Spanish vegetarian dishes, kuch bhi nahi aayega. Olives.
Very
Just eat
few, yeah.
olives.
Correct. And one of the tours that I did, again, while you're doing tours, you have this aha moment as to why, because you mentioned the Iberian ham. Immediately you're like, okay, why is pork so popular in Spain? And then you realize that there is a story behind it, like always. And so, when the whole Inquisition was happening and people were trying to weed out the Muslims and the Jews out of the community, those who
Right.
were pretending to be not that. One of the ways in which you would immediately prove to people that you're not, you don't, you're not Jewish or Muslim, is by hanging a big part of the ham or whatever. So the hanging it out of your house, and if you're Jew, you don't. It's not kosher, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
eat pork. So if it is hanging outside your door, you're definitely not. So people wouldn't even come to bother you. And because of the sun in the south of Spain, the ham would get cured very, very well,
Oh
and
my God.
that's why the Iberian ham is
Oh
like
my
so.
God. What a horrible reason, but
Correct. But the same holds true for a lot of these Catholic countries. So you look at Spain, you look at Portugal, you look at Philippines for that matter. A lot of countries that eat pork is largely because the people who wanted to prove that you are a Christian and you're a Catholic, you need to eat pork. And therefore eating pork, serving pork in royal banquets to make sure that everyone's eating, and therefore they are the the true Christians. That became one of the popular dishes.
fascinating, man. Please throw a lot of these facts, beach me. Okay, I love it. It's
Yeah,
so, I mean, these things are like one ting, one moment. Oh, yeah,
correct.
that's true, man. How come we did not, put one plus one and think this is how it is? Very
Correct.
cool. Oh,
Goa.
oh, so that's why the whole.
So you go into a supermarket in Spain, and
Hmm.
like we have a whole section of vegetables.
Hmm.
There's a whole section which is dedicated to ham. So you can just walk through like corridors of ham before you reach a section where you can even pick up a food.